Naran, first of all, congratulations. Two fantastic, exciting products today. We've got the Tesseract scooter here. There's also the Shockwave off-road bike.
Yeah.
Very exciting in many ways, but I think the most amazing thing is the price.
Right.
This is 1.2 lakhs for the first 10,000 customers.
Yes. Yes.
How are you doing this?
I mean, this goes down to the top-down approach that we were talking about. It's taken us 7-8 years of R&D, but the vertical integration of all of the core tech, from the battery packs to the BMS to the inverter systems to the charging tech and the onboard electronics, the VCU, that enables us to, make the systems modular, bring it onto different platforms. So we are today in a position to be able to cater to different voltage bands, different power bands, different torque bands, and of course, on the design side, new form factors of vehicles. And I mean, the in-house development is frankly the largest contributor to us having a good handle on the cost.
So the work you put in for the last 7 to 8 years is made the possibility for this.
Yes,
basically.
yes, yes.
Okay. You've got a 1-year time scale roughly for this product and the other one to come into the market. It seems like a long time, but it also is
It's
not
very
such
short,
a long
very
time.
short. Yes,
So
yes.
how confident are you actually bringing these to the market in 1 year? And can we assure the viewers that the price is not going to change and it is going to come within that time scale, within the first quarter?
So yes, both of them. I think the R&D has been on for a while now, so it's not a case of us starting on it now. Now it is more of the operational side of scaling up production and ramping up go-to-market for this vehicle. In terms of price point, yes, we are very sure of that. And the 25,000, that is the introductory reduction in price, which from 145 comes to 120, will apply for the first 10,000 vehicles.
And is any sort of government subsidy factored into this? Because are you relying on any sort of subsidy, or is this pricing structure?
Okay. So number we've announced is not factoring in the subsidy, because the subsidies is planned to be phased out soon. So when we do launch the product, if the subsidy is in place, that could contribute further to the
Fantastic. What is your plan for dealer network by the time these vehicles come out? Because
right.
the F90, F77 by nature of what it is a slower selling, not slow, smaller volume product.
Yes, yes.
Whereas this is going to take you to new heights. So what
Correct.
is the plan for dealer network?
So that also has to ramp up this year. The seeing aggressive growth that's being planned for. You would have seen some of that already. Till October 24, we were only operating out of Bangalore. Now in March, in about 4 to 5 months, we scaled to about 14 cities across India. And I think our aim is to get to 50 plus cities across India by the time this vehicle lands in the market, which should have pan-India distribution. And all of our dealerships today are sales, service, and spares equipped. So the whole ecosystem is taken care of as well.
Fantastic. And can you talk me through some of the ideology behind the tech on this scooter? You are putting massive amounts of technology not on your most expensive product.
Right.
So this has ADAS, this has dash cam front and rear, collision warning. So how did you guys decide that this would be the one that we bring this out in?
So in terms of, safety on two-wheelers is a pressing concern. There have been attempts in four-wheelers, and we're seeing a lot of benefit coming in from that. But two-wheelers and the kind of unpredictable driving conditions you might come across meant that more people using them and safety enabling more people across the country to have safer riding conditions. And of course, the tech is being showcased here, but it will be adaptable to our other product lines as well.
Right. So I know you won't be able to give me a clear answer on this right now, but this is all new. This is new to the Indian two-wheeler industry.
Right.
So 1.2 lakh rupees, we know will be a base version, maybe a little less performance, maybe a smaller screen. Could be things like that. How much of a cost is ADAS going to add to a scooter? What are we looking at here? How much is that jump going to be to get all these advanced features?
Too soon for me to get into that, but I think the radar tech and the smart mirrors is something we are investing in as another tech platform. So while it's showcased here, we are trying to make it possible to apply across our product lines as well. So that
to other manufacturers as well? Like you've done with UV Link, can you open it out to everybody? Is that something also?
Definitely possible. If it's a technology offshoot from ultraviolet, why not?
Another question, you have been operating on relatively small volumes so far. There are going to be big challenges with the supplier base for this to scale up.
So
You've been fairly independent so far, but will you look to your partner? I mean, to TVS, for example, for in terms of supply and things like that. Is that a possibility with?
I mean, we're fairly independent organization.
Yes.
And what the last 7 years have taught us and built is a vast, robust network. So I think we're covered in terms of the spectrum of partners, dealers, suppliers, etc. that we would end up working with. It's more of planning and planning the right forecast and the right production ramp up internally as well. Currently, our plant is definitely equipped to scale to about 30,000 vehicles a year. So we will be able to get started. But of course, at a certain point, we will have to transition to a larger production facility.
Final question. Ultraviolet has so far been seen as a high performance electric vehicle manufacturer. You've suddenly become a lot more approachable with this. How would you like people to see Ultraviolet now?
But the performance quotient hasn't moved away. So we are outputting 20 bhp on the scooter, which I think it is India's most powerful electric scooter today on roads, or going to be on roads. So performance is very much a part of the brand DNA, along with two other aspects, which is design and technology. Technology, I think we spoke about in terms of the radar and the sensing capability. And design, I mean, the futuristic appeal of the vehicle and the smart integration of how um, form and function comes together to unlock new use cases. That's something we are actively focusing on across our product lines. Of course, on the motorcycles, the requirement on more utility is not as high, but on a product like this, 34 liters of boot storage, full face helmet can fit in, accommodating 14-inch wheels. Um, at the same time, compact wheelbase that isn't moving into 1600 zones. Maneuverability in the city is an important factor. Um, then all of the Violet AI interactions that you see in terms of tech, in terms of safety, security coming in. So I think design, tech, performance, whatever Ultraviolet launches, we would not compromise on these three.
So it's safe to say that you will continue being a premium brand and that this will be the entry point into Ultraviolet. You're not looking at anything below this.
So for us, when we use the word premium, I would wholeheartedly agree when it meant, I mean, when you're talking about premium in terms of technology and performance, but not really in terms of price point, because that is, of course, something that we have actively worked to make.
1.2 is not is very accessible.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Fine. We should talk about the Shockwave as well.
Cool, cool.
It feels like that was a fun project that the engineers were
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
and then it came to life. What's the story behind that vehicle?
So the story behind the Shockwave, I mean, we are seeing a lot of interest in the F77s from people in their late teens and early 20s. But of course, currently the product is positioned where they would need additional financial support. So this also got us thinking, if the intent is to have a lot of fun and inherently a good electric powertrain allows for that urban fun riding experience. So how do we get what we've done on the F77, put it on a super lightweight platform? So 500 Newton meter of torque at 120 odd kilograms, and reasonable range for all-round city riding plus the urban plus when required. That was the problem statement. And this got us thinking in terms of when was the last time we experienced this, which was two-stroke engines. Bikes like the Shogun and the RX100 definitely had this. Superb fun, accessible price points. So we translated those requirements and added the aspect of an enduro capability, because we're seeing world over India, markets like South America, parts of Asia, where multi-terrain requirements are coming in as a requirement on even your everyday products. So
I know I said last question some time ago, but I promise this is the last one. You had a very interesting slate at the end of your presentation that had multiple product families, and there's going to be more on this platform. There's going to be more on the compact platform.
Right.
Can you just talk to us a little bit about that?
So what we're trying to do is identify 5 core platforms that Ultraviolet will operate in the near future. We started with sports because the tech requirements, it was the highest in terms of developing batteries and powertrains. So once that got solved, we are able to now bring it onto the light motorcycle and the scooter. The X platform would cater to multi-terrain use cases, but more serious motorcycling. The B platform is more on the cruiser segments. So longer range riding.
Look forward to it. Thank you so much, Navi.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Thanks.